Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the woke boycotts. Woke companies are getting punished severely. This is coming from the Daily Mail. Anheuser-Busch, the company that owns Bud Light, Target, and Kohls lost a collective, all combined, $28.7 billion as of now in market value since the beginning of April, amid the backlash over the Pride campaigns and Dylan Mulvaney partnership. They have been paying the price. The market value of the stock is very important. Executives, important people at the company, get paid in options. They get paid when the stock goes up. They do not get paid when the stock goes down. A lot of their bonuses get tied to stock price. Additionally, investors do pressure the company when the stock goes down. Yes, there are ESG investors like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, and they kind of don't care if the stock goes up and down as long as their agenda is working. But while they own an important part of a company, they don't own controlling interests in the companies. There are other investors, and the other investors do want to see their stock value go up, not completely tank. $28.7 billion between those three companies is not even as bad as it's been. Anheuser-Busch alone has been down as much as $30 billion, Target as much as $16 billion at their worst times since April. And none of the issues are resolved. We don't know where their stocks are going to go, but it doesn't look like they're going up. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get to 25,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Let's get into this story from the Daily Mail. Target, Anheuser-Busch, and Kohls have lost a huge $28.7 billion in market value in the wake of the major backlash over their Pride campaigns and products. Let's take a look at each one of these companies. Anheuser-Busch, things have gotten so bad that they had to come out and say, look, we're going to pay off our distributors. We're going to pay them millions of dollars. They didn't come up with the total amount yet. They actually don't even know what the total amount is. There are about 500 of them, and these are independent companies that have their own overhead, their own expenses, their own sales reps, and they are the companies that take the beer from Anheuser-Busch and actually get it into stores. They have a lot of expenses, and they're the ones that are taking most of the heat and are losing most of the money on the front lines. And Anheuser-Busch has announced they're going to come in and they're going to pay those people for their losses. How much is that going to be? Definitely in the millions, could be in the tens of millions, could even be in a couple of 100 million, maybe 500 million, who knows, by the time they settle in at no longer the number one beer, maybe the number two, maybe the number three. It's still unknown. It's unresolved. Target, because of their insane Pride collection, has lost up to $16 billion in stock market value. They're right around $61 billion right now, down from $74 billion. So it's around $13 billion off. They recently announced an extra cash payment to stockholders so that stockholders will retain their stock and not be selling it off. That extra cash payment is going to cost them money. It's not free. And they're still down at least $13 billion right now. Kohls, their stock has actually bounced back a little bit. Their Pride collection, though, was a complete waste of money. They put in a bunch of Pride merchandise, even including onesies for babies. How do you make your babies gay? That I don't understand. But Kohls figured they'd give it a shot. Right now, they're trying to liquidate their merchandise in their 1,100 stores that's related to all the Pride stuff. It's a very small company, Kohls. It's only around a $2 billion company compared to Target being a $60 billion company, Anheuser-Busch being a $100 to $115 billion company, depending on the day. Since the beginning of April, all three have seen their market value plummet, with only Kohls now starting to recover. Brewing giant Anheuser-Busch has seen their sales also drop after teaming up with controversial transgender TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, losing 24.4% in the most recent week of sales. That is revenue. In bottles and cans, it was actually 28.2%. Separately, both Kohls and Target have been caught up in an ongoing backlash after unveiling their Pride collections at the start of May. I've done a lot of videos on Target and provided a lot of information on what's been going on, from articles, from press releases, and also from Reddit with individual Target employees talking about their experience with their Pride controversies and also the drop off in business. A number of them have said the store traffic is down severely at Target. In addition to them, there have been a number of banks and analysts that have come out and said Target does not look like it's in good shape right now. One of them mentioned that foot traffic was down, people in and out of the stores, by 7% in May, and actually down 14% in the last week of May. Less people coming in and out of the stores, obviously that means less sales. And the individual Target employees that were commenting on the Reddit social media posts were saying the stores were really dead, meaning about 50% off. That doesn't mean that their sales are going to be reported nationally at 50% off, but it's not a good sign to see reduced foot traffic, to see some employees saying the sales are off as much as 50%. And additionally, at least 3 banks now, Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan, have said, do not buy Target's stock right now. Things look bad. And that's not just because of the boycott. They have other financial problems. Over at Kohls, a navy blue t-shirt with the rainbow colors of the LGBT flag and the word pride is now selling at a 60% discount for $4.80. They probably will not be able to get rid of all their Pride merchandise. They're going to have to throw a lot of it away. They will hopefully learn their lesson that, look, if you really have customers for this merchandise, okay, stock some of it. Stay away from controversial things like tuck bathing suits and LGBT merchandise for babies. Limit it to whatever it is that people actually want to buy. Don't be pushing this on the public. Put it in its own section, off to the side, and no one will have a problem with it. No one ever really had a problem with it before. It's just the aggressive pushing more and more and more and pushing the agenda. People have had it. That's why the Bud Light boycott, it really isn't Bud Light, and it really isn't just a boycott. It's representative of being fed up with all the pushing in media, in schools, in commercials, everything that you could possibly see in the public, and now all over products. Enough was enough. People don't want to have stuff pushed on them anymore. This is the discounted Pride shirt that they're selling for $4.80 at Kohls. They're not going to make a profit on this. If they break even, they would be lucky, and they're not going to break even. Many called for Target to be given the Bud Light treatment, a reference to the harsh and swift boycott the beer brand faced after an ill-fated social media partnership with Glenn Mulvaney. Experts have since blamed a culture war on companies becoming more susceptible to a backlash when they change their logos for Pride events, with some being accused of virtue signaling after keeping their Middle East accounts the same. So they would change their accounts in different social media accounts in the United States, but of course in the Middle East don't play that. So they won't do that in the Middle East. Eurasia Group analyst Kylie Milliken and Noah DePonte-Smith wrote in a client note last month, many companies celebrate Pride by changing their logos, sponsoring celebrations, and offering themed products. Quote, while these corporate statements have been broadly accepted for years, the intensifying culture war may make companies more vulnerable to backlash. You don't say. While conservatives will attempt to inflict economic consequences on companies that are more vocally supportive of transgender rights, progressives will expect brands to be inclusive and will boycott companies that minimize their LGBT support in response to conservative pressure. Conservatives have just had it. And not just conservatives. Regular people are saying, enough already. We don't need baby books called Bye-Bye Binary trying to train babies and young children to question their genders. Let these kids just develop normally and naturally and make choices when they're older. Several major U.S. corporations, including Target, Adidas, and Bud Light, face significant backlash to woke advertising campaigns. It all comes as the CEO of Anheuser-Busch in America announced a new advertising campaign designed to show the beer as easy to drink and enjoy. That was his comment in their recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, saying they were going to be paying off their wholesalers and consumers don't need to worry because now they're going to make ads for beer that is easy to drink and easy to enjoy. A completely nonsense statement that's not going to make anyone want to buy their product. If you're curious, like I've been, about how badly affected Bud Light's brand has been, this is a great article from Marketing Week. Bud Light brand health shows no sign of recovery as impact of backlash persists. Bud Light's brand health plummeted following the controversy surrounding its partnership with a transgender influencer, with consumers across the board now looking at the brand unfavorably. According to YouGov's brand index shared with Marketing Week, The beer brand's index score, which is an overall measure of its brand health, dropped to minus 8.4 in the US as of June 11th. This is significantly down from the same time last year when its score was 7.9. Now these numbers, what do these numbers represent? Are they real numbers? They are real numbers, and marketing companies and manufacturers do use this to evaluate what the perception is of brands, and the numbers are actually effective in determining, are your customers happy with what you have? Are they excited about what you have? When you see a negative number, that is a bad sign. While Bud Light is a much smaller brand by market share in the UK, and this marketing company is based in the UK, the backlash is also having an impact on this side of the Atlantic. Bud Light's index score dropped from 0.4 on March 31st to negative 6.2 as of June 14th in the UK. So this is a worldwide thing they're experiencing now. Social media is apparently worldwide. So is common sense. It's not just the perennial haters, they say, that now have a problem with Anheuser-Busch. It seems, as the nationally representative figures from YouGov suggest, damage has been done to the Bud Light brand across the board. The biggest reaction has been among older consumers, with Bud Light's index score for over 50s plunging to minus 14.5 from 18.1 last year. The score among younger consumers, 18 to 34-year-olds, has also dropped into negative figures, minus 0.7, although from a much lower base of 1.1. Although the brand has held on to positive index scores among 35 to 49-year-olds, 0.9, it has also fallen significantly from 13.3 last year. So if you do the math, and it's pretty simple math, it's bad. It's bad across every age group. It's now been more than 2 months since Mulvaney's original post, yet the data suggests little sign of improvement. This month, the beer also lost its top spot as the best-selling beer in the US, according to figures from consulting firm Bump Williams. Sales were down by almost a quarter for the 4 weeks ending June 3rd. However, it remains the best-selling brand in the US year to date. Of course, that's going to change over the next couple of months when all the sales figures start to come in. While boycotts of the brand have largely been led by conservatives, Anheuser-Busch's response may have well damaged the brand's health among more liberal Americans too. Last month, Anheuser-Busch told investors it would triple its media investment behind Bud Light this summer. Any efforts to recover brand health so far seem to have been futile. Among all this controversy, Anheuser-Busch has been named, and this is hard to believe, but among all this controversy, Anheuser-Busch has been named Creative Marketer of the Year for the second year in a row by Cannes Lions, and that means they're getting a marketing award. This is a woke marketing award that they were awarded in March, right before the controversy started, and they are still going to go there and accept their marketing award, which really is ridiculous because all they've been doing is destroying value in their brand since April of this year and not even being open and communicating with their customers and their distributors about what was going on and how this happened in the first place and how they could make sure this never happens again. If you can believe it, they haven't even told investors what happened, why it happened, and why they will make sure that it will never happen again. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Do you think these guys are going to recover and get back the $28 billion in market value that they've lost? Do you think they're smart enough to just be honest with people, straighten themselves out, and never do this again? Would really love to see what your ideas are. Let me know what you think. Please be sure you're also subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.